So it's Wednesday, 9 o'clock in the morning. It's August 10th. Last night and throughout most of yesterday, Josh and I watched Lahaina town burn to the ground. Fire started up in the hills yesterday. Apparently, the night before last, it caught, and it was just a brush fire. By yesterday morning, they thought they had contained it. The Hurricane Dora was coming off the coast, and it was whipping up some pretty intense winds. And we made it to town at about 7 in the morning yesterday from the other side of the island. Saw that, they were fighting some smaller fires, and we walked our way through the town. Everything was okay. The fires were contained on the outskirts, so they had thought. And we made it back to our boat before the wind picked up from Dora. And then as we got out here, it got worse and worse through the day. The fire spread, the wind picked up. This was gusting to like 80 or so. The storm got pretty intense. We flipped our dinghy and took some stuff off the deck, but the boat was fine. Our mooring held. But the fire eventually grew, say around yesterday evening. Pretty much began to encompass most of the town, and by nighttime the whole town was ablaze. Burned out through the night. I remember at one point we were listening on the VHF and people were hailing Lahaina Harbor, and over again, multiple people hailing boats, hailing the harbor, until finally somebody just said, "I don't think Lahaina Harbor exists anymore," and the radio was silent for a while. There's soot inside. Fucking place is gone. Josh and I have been working here in Lahaina Bay for pretty much the whole day. We're going to be here a while. just working with the food drive, trying to help Maui and Lahaina, doing what we can. We donated a bunch of water and stuff that we had on the boat that we could live without. Generator. It's been a really rough past few days. Really tired. Just woke up from a nap, and they're still going on through the night, so I'm gonna go over there and help them for the night. He's got the street blocked off. We're camped out here in Maui Harbor. I got the hammock set up. We got all the donations set up on a camp. It's like a mountain of food and supplies that have come in all day. And we're working with Hungry Heroes food drive. We've got first aid, toiletries, and tents, and propane, and gasoline, and canned food for days, and a mountain of water. And Joshua and I, being moored out right here on the wharf, have chosen to volunteer to guard everything for the night. So we're going to set up a little camp for ourselves and make home here for a while. Probably be here a week, maybe more, just collecting, distributing supplies. And so Joshua and I are about to pull anchor and leave the outskirts of Maui Harbor. We've been working here with Hungry Heroes for a while, and we've kind of lost our spot inside the breakwater there where it was safe. The anchorage isn't so great here, but we've found some purpose elsewhere where we think we can be better suited. So we're gonna go and try to establish lines of communication near the main damage zone, since they have no telecommunications and we have satellite devices that still work in those dead zones. And we're gonna try to establish drop-off points for the Hungry Heroes so they can get the supplies that they need over there to the people who need them. So leaving this gorgeous place, heading back west. Sailing out of Maui Harbor now. There she is off in the distance, maybe half a mile away. Got the cute little lighthouse over here marking the point. It's adorable. Wind towers, or windmills up there. Windy road up the mountain leading to them. Beautiful day for sailing. Gotten out of the wind. We're in the lee of the island now. Been having transmission issues. Josh is working on them. I had been working on them for a few days. It's nothing serious. We know what it is. We just don't have the right parts to fix it right. And we've been trying MacGyver solutions, which, you know, trial and error. But we know how to keep from breaking the damn thing, so. It's not bad, it's a little scratch. Man. This is Mala after the fire. Down here at the Lahaina Gateway, we're working with this organization, the Maui County, distributing supplies and getting intel for the Hungry Heroes so that they could bring more over here, help the people of Lahaina. Leaving Lahaina town, probably for good, for a while. Heading back to Male to reconnect with Hungry Heroes. And then I think we're gonna push forward to Oahu, Pearl Harbor. You can see Oahu off in the distance. Behind the sailboats, Oahu. Ahoy, Captain! Woo! Farewell! Till we meet again! Woo! Keep in touch! Bye, Mala Harbor. This is right by the Safeway. August 15th. Historic Mala Wharf right here. See how scorched the hillsides are. About to pull anchor in the second windiest harbor in the world, Malea. We're gonna try to get closer to the harbor because it is just way too windy to dinghy to shore from here. But we think we can tuck up in that corner and pretty much swim it. We got a couple little things to wrap up in here. We've never seen before, so we've made some friends and we're gonna say our goodbyes. It's time for a water. Done about. Late night at the abandoned Buzz's Wharf. Got the pile of cops sitting over there. We're chilling out in the pop-up hippie commune. So the week after the Lahaina fires for Josh and I was quite an interesting one. It had its highs and its lows. We left Lahaina the morning after the fire, and it was still going on, but it had pretty much died down. We went to Maalaea and we started trying to volunteer there. We helped load up the boat Calypso, and we started asking around to see where else we could be of use. And we discovered the Hungry Heroes of Hawaii set up at the old Buzz's Wharf. When we found them, they were just like 50 Walmart bags on a bit of dirt filled with stuff that they were trying to hand out to people. And we asked them how we could help. We started cleaning up Buzz's Wharf, which is a piece of property owned by a gentleman named Andre, who is just a spectacular individual. And he let HHH pretty much clean up the property and set up a base camp there as a supply depot for taking donations and then distributing aid to those who need it. And we fell into that group. We started helping them out. We spent the night there, the first night, helping watch over supplies and accept things as they came in through the night and distribute them to those that needed it when they showed up to the camp, even late at night. And after a day or so of that, we kind of lost our spot in the harbor. They needed room for the ferry that was coming in, and they'd been really gracious to let us stay tied up to the wharf for free. So we kind of said our goodbyes, and then Josh had a fantastic idea. Since the communications in Lahaina were still really poor, he decided to work with HHH and for us to go down there with our satellite phones and try to figure out where the depots were and how we could get guys over there with supplies so we could bring more stuff that was needed into the town. So we set off on that mission. We went back to Lahaina. We ended up tying up to a mooring in Mala Wharf, where we met a really awesome guy named Austin, who was super helpful and really kind to us. He helped bring us to shore over there by the historic wharf, which we did not know was a hot zone, and access to that area was restricted. So we ended up kind of walking through there until heading towards the Civic Center, which we thought was one of the big supply depots. And then we ran into some police officers, and they told us we really weren't supposed to be there, asked us where we were going, and they ended up offering us a big list of all the supply depots, telling us not to go to the Civic Center, that was like the operations for law enforcement and government, and they weren't having civilians over there. So we followed their advice, and we ended up at the Lahaina Gateway, where the county had a very large operation set up. And we ended up going and meeting some people there, sending the resource list over to our contacts at HHH. We ended up meeting up with the late mayor's liaison, he was an awesome guy. He helped establish passes for the group so that we could get people over there. We got communication to the supply depots so we could get in touch with them and figure out what they needed us to bring to them. And after that stuff was done, it felt like we had accomplished our mission. So Josh and I just spent the day over there working at the Lahaina Gateway. Eventually we had to figure out a way back to the boat through the hot zone, which we were really worried about. And the gentleman who we met from the county was really, really gracious, and made some calls, pulled some strings, and was able to get us an escort back to the boat under the conditions that we didn't go to shore there through the hot zone again, which obviously we agreed to. We felt rather embarrassed that we had to get an escort home, but they were all very polite, and we felt rather accomplished in our goal. And with it being really hard to return to shore down near the disaster zone, we figured it would be best to head back up to Mailea. You know, it's about a week had passed at this point, and we went to Hunger Heroes base camp again at Buzz's Old Wharf. We had a great day, just kind of like reconnecting, helping a little bit more, seeing our friends again that we had made, the family that we had made, and, you know, going about our way. But as you watch this video, I really want to remind you that just because, you know, this disaster happened 2 or 3 weeks ago, a month ago, a year ago from now, it's going to take a long time and a lot of resources to, you know, really undo things that were done in that eventful day. So don't let Maui leave your mind or your prayers, and in any way that anybody can help. You know, there's definitely places to donate and places to send food to and resources, and, you know, eventually it's going to be all about like rebuilding and trying to get, you know, the people, especially people who have had properties there for generations, you know, that a lot of them didn't have home insurance and stuff because of the way that, you know, Hawaii laws work, and they just couldn't afford it. So they really can't afford to rebuild their properties in, you know, this economic climate. And those people really are going to need help for a long time to get back to where their life was, in a way, you know. But you know, I titled this video The Spirit of Aloha, because that is really what we learned about over that last week. We learned about, you know, being true and helping others without, you know, wanting anything in return. And we learned about what it means to have a family the size of a community, you know, for everybody to just be there for each other and to be accepting and loving and hold each other up, you know, when everybody's feeling so low. It was life-changing, super beautiful. And the spirituality there, the, you know, understanding of a higher energy and of the way our emotions and our actions affect ourselves and everybody around us was eye-opening. It's really, really beautiful. It was one of the first places I'd ever experienced something on such a large scale amongst hundreds and hundreds of people that were just open to love. So, you know, that taught us something really beautiful. It was amazingly healing.